Hi there. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thanks for joining me today for Cooking with Gail. And I do hope that you have had fun today. It's been an absolutely gorgeous day here. It's been a little bit windy, but it's been nice and warm. And so it feels like summer actually outside here in East Tennessee. But anyway, we're going to do a little cooking, of course. I have a new recipe that I have not made before. And I'm going to have to alter it just a little bit because when I started reading and then looking in my cupboard, I did not have the correct seasoning that I needed. So we're just going to alter it just slightly, but I think it's still going to be a really delicious and healthy meal. I see I've got a few folks jumping on. Hey, Maria, and Pam is out there, and my friend Rita is watching. Good to see you ladies. Anyway, I hope y'all have had a wonderful day. You know, it has been warm here in East Tennessee. So, and of course, Maria, I know it's always warm where you are out west, but you know, it's a little early, I think, to be as warm as it is right now. I see my friend Susan is coming on and Joyce. Oh, a bunch of my East Tennessee friends are with me right now. Good to see everyone. Our recipe tonight is a chicken dish. Pam, don't make me so sick. You're in Myrtle Beach. Oh my goodness, I see that right now. Yeah, Susan, beautiful day, beautiful day. Oh yeah, yes, Maria, very windy here too. What is it with all this wind we're having lately? I just don't know. And I do believe that if I saw the news correctly, they're calling for some severe storms out in West and Middle Tennessee. So I'm hoping that they're not as bad as it sounded like, and I hope that they don't come all the way to the eastern part of the state where we are. But anyway, let's get started cooking. We're going to be making something tonight. The original recipe is called chicken breast with mushroom truffle sauce. And it calls for a relatively new seasoning called black truffle and herb seasoning. And I thought I had it in my cupboard. And when I went to look, of course, I did not have that one. I did have our black garlic seasoning. So it does call for mushrooms, so we're going to be putting mushrooms in there. There's going to get the mushroom flavor, and we're going to use the black garlic seasoning instead, and I think it'll be just as good, if not better. So anyway, but I just want to clarify that, so when you look at the recipe, you'll say, well, that's not what seasoning she used. No, I don't have it somewhere. I don't know where it is. I thought I got one, but I cannot find it today. So anyway, let's get started with our meal. And this shouldn't take us too awfully long to make. It sounds relatively easy, and it does use one of my favorite pieces of cookware, which is our big, huge 5-quart non-stick Brilliance skillet. Okay, so it's going to make quite a bit. I think it makes 4 servings actually. So Jim and I'll eat tonight, and hopefully we'll get enough for another meal. And it does, of course, the skillet comes with a big old glass lid. But I'm going to put the lid over here out of the way for right now. We will need it towards the end of our recipe. But let's go ahead and get our pan heated up. I'm going to go ahead and put about a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan, and we're going to turn it on, and then we're going to season up our chicken. So let's get the oil going first. About a tablespoon. Make sure I'm reading my recipe correctly. Yeah, okay, so we're going to heat up our oil. I'm going to get my burner going. And, that's odd. I hope my igniter, there it goes. Wow, that took a minute. I have a gas stove and it usually just flames right up, and it took a couple of tries there, but we're good to go right now. Who else? I got lots more people. Hey, Kim. One of my new girls that have joined my team. I see another girl that's on my team, Miss Whitney over in North Carolina is watching. I see Amanda. Hey, Amanda, and Janice. Woo! God, I hope everybody just sticks around to see this recipe, okay? All right, so we're heating up our oil. We are making chicken breast with mushroom sauce. And I'm not even using chicken breast, so you know me, I change up these recipes. I'm actually using boneless, skinless chicken thighs because that's what I found at Aldi today. Let me grab my tongs over here. And these look pretty nice. I tell you, they're with all the skin off. We're not going to be eating terribly unhealthy tonight. That's good, right? I don't know if anybody besides me is trying to drop a few pounds, but I'm working on it, and it is a an uphill climb, let me tell you. So we got 5 nice little thighs right there. Jim loves the thigh better than he likes the white meat, so he was happy when I came home with these. And we're going to season these with just a little bit of pepper. I'll grab my pepper shaker here. And then we're going to add some of that black garlic seasoning. Now, like I said, it was supposed to be the black truffle and herb seasoning, but I don't have it. I cannot locate it, so I thought I had some, but we're just going to put probably about a teaspoon or so on the first side, and then we're going to flip them over, and we'll put just a little bit more. So let me grab my tongs again. And these are going to go into our skillet with the hot olive oil. And we're just going to brown them. We're going to brown them on both sides. And then we'll add our other ingredients in. All right, so let's do a little more seasoning. And then we'll do a little more pepper. Now you all know that I like to hear from you guys. Tell me what you guys are cooking up tonight. Are you cooking or are you going out? It's okay, you can go out. I'm going to go out this weekend. I have a special date. Actually, 2 nights in a row we got date night. We are going to watch a movie on Friday. We're going to see The Chosen. And then Saturday is our anniversary. Yeah, anniversary. So, there's our pepper. 13 years, that lucky 13, huh? All right, so chicken is ready to go in. Let's check our oil over here and make sure it's good and hot. I believe it is. I'm going to do it swirling through the pan so you guys can see. And then we're just going to put these chicken breasts right in there. Let me tilt my camera up so you can see a little bit back here behind me. And I will move you closer in just a few minutes, okay? So let's get our chicken in. And I do hear a sizzle, which is a good sign. It's good and hot in there. And we're going to let those cook about 4 or 5 minutes, I guess, on that side, and then we will flip them over and get that browning on the other side. In the meantime, we have to chop an onion, so let's go ahead and work on that. Already got our onion peeled, of course, and we're going to cut it up in chunks, and it's going, you know where it's going, right? In that electric twist and chop behind me. That is the fastest way to chop up an onion that I have ever seen. And we can put the whole thing in there at once too. That's not too much for it. Cut this in half. That's a little big of a chunk. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you a little hint about another use that you can do with this electric twist and chop. It works great if you're making, I don't know how many of you make deviled eggs, especially, you know, Easter's coming up, but when you make deviled eggs, you can use that twist and chop to mix up your yolks with all your mayonnaise or seasonings, whatever you put in there, and it does it so fast, and it's so smooth. It's fabulous. All right, let me turn my heat down just a little bit back here on the chicken, and we're going to put the lid on the electric twist and chop and let you guys watch. I know you've seen this several times, but you know, guys, when I have to chop an onion, this is what I'm going to use, you know. So here we go. Nice and fine. There it is. Doesn't get much faster than that, does it? And the best thing of all, it's very easy cleanup. Everything can go right into the dishwasher. Time saver, easy to use. It is one of my favorite products, in case you didn't know that. Who else has joined me? I see I got Janice back there. Hello, Janice. Friend from high school. Oh, Janice, y'all having baked spaghetti? That sounds amazing. You'll have to post a picture of it and show us what it looks like. All right, let's look at this chicken. I don't think it's been quite 4 minutes, so let's check it out. It's starting to brown. Just another minute or so, and we should be ready to flip all of those. I need to put the lid on my seasoning or I will spill it. You know how clumsy I am. So let me put that over here out of the way. All right. Once we flip the chicken, then we're going to go ahead and prep our mushrooms next. Let's see, I need that mat back. My onion was on. And I have already cleaned them. Already cleaned the mushrooms. They're ready to go. And we are going to use another really great prepping tool from our catalog, and that is our quick slice. Best thing ever for mushrooms. All right, let's go ahead and flip these. I think they're looking pretty good. Check that out. Hopefully you can see that browning on that. Oh yeah. And we're not going to actually have to cook this until it is completely done. We just want to get a nice brown on the outside because it will do some cooking a little bit later once we add our other ingredients to make the sauce. All right, so let's check out how we're going to slice up these mushrooms really quickly. We're going to use our quick slice, and we can lay quite a few mushrooms. Let's see how we want to slice them. I guess we want to slice, let me turn it around this way. We want to slice them in this direction. You can do it however you want to. No, I don't want that way. I want to go this way. I was looking at it upside down. There we go. I think I'll probably get one more on here, a small one. Let's put it right in here. And then we're just going to take this and you wiggle it a little bit. And then, let's see, where am I going with my mushrooms? Let's pour these out on the mat here. And then we're going to just dump them right back into our colander. And look at those nice sliced mushrooms. Very, very easy. All right, let's put a few more in here. And you can do at least 4, even when they're big. Now, you might say, well, what else can you use that for, Gail? Well, I use it very often for strawberries. If I have a lot of strawberries to slice, so maybe I'm putting some in the freezer. Got a lot of strawberries. They work great on strawberries. It works great on anything. What about eggs? If you want to slice up eggs, works great for that. Anything that's relatively soft. I think you can probably slice fresh mozzarella with that. Soft, you know, a soft cheese. Don't want to do anything real hard because if you notice, the blades are very thin. They're very sharp, but they're very thin. So you can't really cut anything that's too hard. And there we go. Our mushrooms are sliced and ready. And again, of course, you know I like easy cleanup. This goes right into your dishwasher. All right, let's get the last of the mushrooms here. So they're going to be ready to go. Now, let's take a look at that chicken. I'm going to just bring it over here so you can see how nice this non-stick pan is browning. Look at that. And I'll have to say that it really smells good too. That black garlic seasoning I've not used before, so this is a new experience. If you're just joining me, the recipe is actually called chicken breast with mushroom truffle sauce, but I did not have any of the black truffle and herb seasoning. It's a new seasoning that we have, but I do have the black garlic. So that's what we're using. You know, you don't have one ingredient, you just change it up, right? Hi, Miss Pat. How are you doing, girl? I hope you're doing well, too. And I see Kathy, my friend Kathy. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I hope everybody's doing good. All right, we're going to let that chicken go for just another minute or so. I'm going to go ahead. Now, I told you this was going to be a low-carb meal, and it is the way if we just eat this. But, you know, my husband, you got to have something extra for the guys, right? So they need some carbs. So I am going to cook some rice. And I already have a cup of jasmine rice in here, along with 2 cups of water. Whatever amount of rice you want, you put twice as much water, or broth, if you want to cook it in broth. And so we're going to just put that in the microwave and put it on 3 minutes on full power first. Then once the 3-minute cycle finishes up, we'll put it on 50% power, and we'll put it on another 17 minutes. So it takes a total of 20 minutes to cook the most perfect rice you've ever made. So if you don't have, this used to be called our Rice Cooker Plus. It's now just called the 3-quart micro cooker, but it's fabulous for rice and for any vegetables. You can bake your potatoes in here, do a lot of cooking, and save time in your microwave and not heat up your kitchen, okay? All right, so I believe our chicken is brown enough on both sides. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take the chicken up. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. We're going to take the chicken up and we're going to put it in a plate and we're going to cover it so it stays warm until we're ready to add it back into our dish. Oh yeah, I want you to look at that. Look how nice and brown on both sides. Just 3 or 4 minutes on the side and it is looking mighty tasty. All right, so I'm going to just put a bowl over the top of this one just to keep the heat in. And then we'll be adding that back into our dish, okay? All right, so let's see what's next on the list here. Next, we're going to add in about 2 teaspoons of butter. And I've got that measured out here, so let me just add that into the drippings from the chicken. 2 teaspoons of butter. We're going to let that saute around. Let's see, let me find it. We'll use this. And then we're going to add those wonderful chopped onions that we just put in, okay? So all those beautiful onions are going in. I need a smaller scraper to get all this out. Let me spread these around. Tell you what, let me see if I can move you a little closer so you can see what is happening in the pan. I don't know if this will work or not. I believe it will. I think you'll be able to see better. So we've got our 1 finely chopped onion with a tablespoon of butter. Let me get the rest of these onions out of here. We don't want to waste any of the goodness. All right. There we go. And we turn that heat back up a little bit. We want those onions to cook. We want them to get them nice and soft. We don't want any crunchy ones because this is actually going to be in our sauce, our mushroom sauce that's going to go with our chicken. So we're just going to cook these for about a minute or 2 until the onions get softer. And in just a little bit, okay, we got to restart our rice, so let's do that. We're going to go get that started up again on 17 minutes at 50% power. So we are cooking some rice to go with this low carb meal because I have a husband here who doesn't do low carb. So I have something else for him to eat. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to add our mushrooms in next. All those beautiful mushrooms that we just sliced. And if you're not a mushroom fan, no worries. You can always substitute, you know, just like I'm doing. If you don't have something or if you don't like something, you can substitute, right? So if you don't want to do mushrooms, let's see, I think that you could probably use, I just read it on here just a few minutes ago, how about some diced bell pepper, some carrots maybe, whatever veggie you like. It doesn't have to have the mushrooms. We happen to love mushrooms though. So that's why I'm kind of excited about this meal. So we're just going to let those cook and soften up. Now I do have something else that I'm going to add in here just to add a little bit more flavor. I've already started, how many of you have started your gardens? Anybody got a garden going on? I have some herbs. And I'm just going to throw a couple of stems of thyme. This is English thyme. And that's going to just give it a little bit of extra flavor. I love to cook with fresh herbs. And I've just got a few things started. We bought a couple little plants. I had my basil plant, you know, in here, and I went ahead and put it out into the garden. So it lived through the winter. I'm so excited. I can't believe I kept it alive that long. But I also have an English thyme. I have a rosemary plant and parsley, Italian parsley, I believe was the other one. I may add a couple other things too. I was just trying to see how much space I have in my raised bed garden that we're doing this year. All right, those mushrooms are cooking up nice. The onions are looking good. I'll let them cook just another minute, and then we're going to add a little bit of white wine. Wow, 2 weeks in a row I've added wine to my recipe, and I hardly ever cook with wine. It's just happened that way. Of course, you know when you're cooking with wine, the alcohol all evaporates while it's cooking, but it does add some depth and flavor to whatever you're cooking. And this is a 1/4 cup of white wine. And we're just going to let that simmer for a couple or 3 minutes. And it'll take all those little bits that were hanging around on the bottom of the pan. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells amazing. Now, next thing, because we do need to make something to thicken our sauce when it all gets finished, because we are going to add some chicken broth to it as well. I feel like you guys can. I hope you can see me. You can see my reflection in the microwave there. Anyway, I've got I've got 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, and we're just going to add a little bit more broth. We're going to add about a 1/4 cup of broth to our cornstarch. So I'm going to grab a little bowl over here, and we'll get that mixed up. And that will be our, they call it a slurry. That will be our slurry that will thicken this up. So we've got our cornstarch that's going in there. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of chicken broth into that. Get that mixed up, and then that will go in our sauce. Alright, so we're going to add that in there, and I'm going to get my little whisk, if I can find it. I'm going to have to use the big whisk. I don't see the small one out here. So anyway, but you see here is our cornstarch along with some chicken broth, 1/4 cup, and this, we'll just add this in a few minutes, and this will thicken our sauce. Now, if you don't have cornstarch and you want to use flour, you can add the flour. You should add the flour though, like when we were cooking the onions, so that the flour will cook a little bit. You don't want to add raw flour in, because it's not, you're not supposed to eat it like that. So you would sprinkle the flour over your onions before you added the mushrooms and the wine and all that, like we were just doing. But as long as you don't add the flour, this is actually a gluten-free meal as well, if any of you are gluten-free, trying to eat that way. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and add our broth in now. This is 1 cup of chicken broth. We're going to add that in. And then once it gets hot and simmering, we will add that slurry in, which will thicken up our mushroom sauce. Isn't that looking great? I'm thinking this might be restaurant quality. It looks fabulous. All right, let's crank up the heat just a little bit to bring that back up to a simmer, and then we'll add our thickening agent, our cornstarch, and a little bit of broth that we mixed together with that. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead. We do have one vegetable that we're going to add to this, and that is some broccoli. And so I'm going to just chop up about 3 cups of broccoli flowerettes that we're going to add in. Make sure this is nice and smooth. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to flip it up a little bit and turn you back around this way, if I can. I don't know if my camera, maybe it'll sit right there. And I have my broccoli right here. And I'm just going to take my big knife, my big chef's knife, my favorite one, and we're just going to go ahead and cut off the flowerettes. And we will put about enough flowerettes. I'm going to cut them down a little bit. We don't want big hunks of broccoli. We want them to be bite-sized, and we want them to cook. All right, we're coming to a simmer over here. so I'm going to go ahead. I want you to see the simmering. See if we can see that. There you go. And I see I've got some new people joining. Hey, Deb. And I see Mary Elizabeth. Hey, girl, are you baking today? All right, so let's add our slurry in here. This is going to thicken this up. Make sure we get all that cornstarch out of there. And we're just going to stir that and let it keep simmering. Then we'll be ready to put our chicken back in here. And even though our recipe is called chicken breast with mushroom gravy, we are actually making chicken thighs, because I got the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. We like those. My husband especially likes those better than white meat. He likes dark, so that's what we're going to have. And they cooked up really nice. If you're just joining me, you can go back and watch the beginning where we were browning those chicken thighs. They brown up so nice in this skillet, and for it to be a non-stick skillet, you wouldn't think that it would brown as well. All right, now let's just let that simmer for a second. I'm going to go ahead and cut up some more broccoli here real quick, and then we'll be ready to put everything together. We're going to have about 3 cups of broccoli flowerettes to go in, along with our chicken. And while I'm cutting this, I know you can still hear me. Hopefully you have checked out that sale that started yesterday. We have some really cool products that are on sale that are great for entertaining. I know we have quick stir pitchers. We have our beautiful charcuterie board. I just ordered that, and I'm so excited to get that. Trying to think what else was on the list. You all can check it out. There was a post earlier that I put in about it. And also on our cover page here on our group, you'll see pictures of some of the things that are included in that sale. Wow, that was just exactly 3 cups of broccoli, just what I needed. How lucky am I? All right, and that is starting to thicken. It's starting to look like a sauce, like gravy, isn't it? We're going to let it cook just a little longer. Then we're going to add that chicken in and our broccoli. It smells absolutely delicious. Now, the recipe did not call for it, but I am going to add just a little bit of salt. That's up to you. You add salt to yours. Oh wow, look at this. It's nice and smooth mushroom sauce. Those onions are practically just dissolving, but the flavor is going to be there. All right, let's put that chicken back in. And you can actually, if you like to cut your chicken up, you can do that, or you can leave it whole. I think we'll just leave this whole because these are fairly small pieces. And so we're just going to nestle that back in here. And then we're going to add in those broccoli flowerettes. Look at that. That looks so yum. Put some of this chicken broth in there. And here comes our broccoli. About 3 cups of broccoli flowerettes. I love having a vegetable and a meat together. Just going to kind of put that around the chicken. There we go. And now we're just going to go ahead and put the lid on. I'm going to push the broccoli down into the sauce just a little bit. And then we're going to put the lid on, and I'm going to turn it down to low since it is simmering. And we're just going to let that simmer for probably 4 to 5 minutes, just until our broccoli is nice and tender. And then we'll be all set. Oops, I have my tripod stuck over here. Then we'll be all set to have a beautiful, healthy dinner, I hope. So anyway, but I'm so glad. Hey, that was a pretty nice thing. I finished up right on time, 6:30. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. I see I've got some more comments. I will have to go back and read all the comments, and I will respond to you. But you know, think about, if you have not had a party in a while, April is the prime month to have it. You can still get that new deluxe air fryer oven at 60% off this month when you host. You can also, if you don't want that, or if you don't need that, you want some other of our appliances, you can get those. Get one of those at 60% off. That includes, of course, our coffee maker, the deluxe cooking blender, the multi-cooker, all those good things. So think about that. And of course, you know, we do have a good sale going right now, and you never know, they may surprise us with something else as the month gets started. But anyway, you know, Easter is coming. If I can help you with any tools to help you get that Easter celebration on the table a little bit easier, let me know. Because you know, that's what it's all about. I try to help you with cooking tips and also with products that make your life in the kitchen much, much easier. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great evening with your family, and I will see you soon. Who knows, I may surprise you with a video later on in the week or early next week. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, have a great night. Thanks so much. Bye.